Okay, so good morning, y'all. I'm about to make my morning coffee, but I came on here because I know y'all been seeing the discourse about the girlies, basically since the U.S. raised tariffs, how China is now coming out and exposing, the luxury brands for essentially tricking y'all as a consumer to believe that y'all are actually paying for high-end luxury items when really they're all manufactured in the same warehouse. And as a DHGATE girly, look at me, honey. I'm never going to pay an astronomical price for a bag, a shoe, a wallet, a chain, nothing. Let me tell you something. I don't even buy myself UGG boots because I refuse to pay for anything. Any type of shoe that go on my foot that's over $100. Any Jordans you see me get, all that Uggs, all that stuff comes from my honey. Thank heavens I have a man who loves me enough to do that. But I am the type of girl who, you ask me what I want for my birthday, babe, give me $300 to go shop on the gate. And he did. So I'm not upset finding out that, the same thing that I'm buying off of the gate is what y'all buying in the stores. I'm actually quite relieved, because do you know how pissed I would be if I found out my man spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 on a bag, and I knew it only cost them $5 to manufacture, and the only way they're able to put that type of tag on her is because they let China manufacture it halfway, and then they ship it back to the luxury brands and let them put their own little spin on it, their signature, and then jack up the price by 15, 20 times what it costs to manufacture. I'm not upset. The only people who are upset are the people who are label whores. I'm not a label whore. I personally feel like nobody in the history of me rocking my dupes has ever clocked my tea. And I have Chanel, I have Louis V, I have Hermes back there. I have Kelly's. I didn't even know I was rocking Kelly's before the girls made them popular. I have Telfeezy's. Yeah. I because it didn't matter if the brand was black owned or not. You cannot justify spending $300, $400, $500, $600 plus on a purse to me. I'd much rather have $300, $400, $500, $600 inside the purse. So the girlies finding out now that the gay girls were right. I'm going to tell y'all how I know that China not lying. I have me a Louis Vuitton Speedy with feet on the bottom. I paid $67 for that, I think, at the most. And I believe 25 of it was for shipping. So let's just say I paid 40 some odd dollars for it. Yeah, the leather quality is superb. The bag is soft. It does not stink. The leather, when you wet it, it changes color. So I never had an issue getting my stuff off the gate. I don't care. Y'all see Louis Vuitton as a status symbol. I see it because I just happen to like the bag and I like the canvas print. But I just can't go getting people $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a bag. It don't make sense to me. I'm not finna have $500, $600 shoes on my feet. Ho, is you cool? And I have some of everything back there. Dior, Chanel, Gucci, Louis. I got a Prada bag. And again, I've been a gay girly. I never even proclaimed that, oh yeah, because I go in the store and it's exclusive shit only. No, if I see a celebrity carrying a cute little pursy-worsy, I'm going to screenshot their purse and I'm going to upload it on the gate so I can go find it for a cheaper price. Bitch, I'm not Cardi B. I can't afford no $50,000 purse, but I can afford a $5 purse. I can afford a $50 purse. And what really is scratching my motherfucking ass hers is all you bitches who went and bought Birkins. We finding out that the Birkins are manufactured in China. So really, you just paid $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a handcrafted piece of leather that's not even handcrafted. I just feel like the U.S. started it. China said, you know what? I know you said that's your man, but he fucking me too. Mic drop. And walked out the room. And I don't feel bad about it. And now seeing, especially all you black content creators talk about how you thought you was purchasing luxury. And we used to talk about the girls who used to rock fake stuff. And yeah, now you found out we all rocking fake stuff. Because classism is a real thing. They try to brainwash and warp y'all to believing that because you bought it out of this store and I bought it off of this website that we are not equal. When the crazy part about it is both of them was manufactured by the same place at the same time. Yours just has an Italy sticker on it. Mine just says China. The reason why this is so funny is because y'all don't really understand how everything correlates back to racism. I'm going to show you how it breaks down. Classism, so lower class, middle class, upper middle class, high class. Classism is a direct correlation of patriarchy, which is, as we know, how men want the world to be ruled, which is followed by what? Racism. Because if I can justify what kind of class of people you are, I can now know how I'm supposed to treat you, and whether I should treat you with human decency and respect or treat you like the common class citizen that you are. So the big shock factor with these brands, well, with China finally coming out and exposing these brands, is there used to be a time you could carry a Louis Vuitton bag and you would know someone's class status, their social status, their economic value. And now that they've exposed the U.S., now how are we going to determine that? We have to go right back to racism, which is judging people by the content of their skin and not judging them as the characters who we are. Really not judging them at all, because God sits high and looks low, and who are you? So it just ties back to, you know, white patriarchy and this whole concept of you being better than someone else because you have this or you have that, or you can afford this or you can afford that. And it ties back to racism, because racism is where they first learn how to socially and economically divide based off of, instead of using handbags, they use skin as currency. And you are either a house or a field. And based off of the preferential treatment of how close you are to whiteness, depicted how they would treat you. So, really, classism is just racism with money. I was in about 8th grade, 9th grade. We transitioning from middle school to high school, right? We took this class called Direct Instruction, Personal Finance. Now, Direct Instruction was an accelerated, I believe, reading program that inner city schools had to take just to ensure that everybody was on a, fast-paced reading level. And then Personal Finance talked about, it's essentially an economics financial credit class that you would take earlier in school so that you kind of had an idea about debit, credit, things like that. But in there, they taught us about supply and demand. The greater the supply, the lower the demand. The greater the demand, the lower the supply. They also taught us, Miss Susan Lampros, who was the teacher, thank you, because it stuck with me for the rest of my life, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You're either going to pay on the front end or you're going to pay on the back end. But either way you're going to pay, nothing is ever free. Nothing is ever free. She also taught us about consumerism, and basically from an economic status, how all they have to do is slap a certain label on something and it can trick the consumer into justifying why they pay $10 to $20 more for this particular item. Case in point, just say this mug. This mug was made in China. I kid you not. Made in China. Y'all probably can't see, but it was made in China. It probably cost China 50 cents to manufacture this mug, and then they used a screen printing machine, right? And so when they sold it to the U.S., they sold it to us for the cost that we would typically. But then when it arrived in the U.S., they were able to put like a 15 to 20% markup on it. So if it only cost them $2 to make, they sold it to us for $10. Now, if the supply for cups, mugs dwindles down, then they're able to jack the price up higher. But if they have too many coffee cups, then guess what they'll do? They'll lower the price. This is how you end up with them sales and clearance and all that. So one thing that I learned is you're either going to pay on the front end or you're going to pay on the back end. That was through personal finances. Well, in this case, China is making sure, since the U.S. don't want to pay on the front end, y'all going to pay on the back end. Consumerism. And I'm about to shift the way that your consumer thinks, because we've been holding your secrets close to heart, thinking that we're benefiting, and actually it was y'all that was benefiting. So now we're finna expose everything that's going on, and we're gonna provide the websites, which I'm gonna put them right here for y'all. Yeah, we're going to provide the website so they can cut out the middleman and purchase from us directly. And that way we're not paying the tariffs. You know who's going to pay the tariffs? That's right, your consumer. So I say all this to say, China has come out and said if the U.S. thinks that we need anything from them, they all are sadly mistaken. Some folks really got on her and said, ask me how many products in my house are manufactured in the U.S. Don't worry, I'll wait. And then he said, now I want you to take a look around your house and you tell me how many products in your home say that were created in China. Baby, I just picked up 3 things and already I could tell that, yeah, China won this one. China won this one. This is literally, if y'all remember on Why Did I Get Married, when he said, oh no, you didn't get it from me. You got it from Anthony. And that man said, what you talking about, Anthony? I ain't gay. And she was like, no, because Anthony gave it to me. I got a shot. I was just waiting on you. Boom. Like, China came in and said, oh, tariffs? Well, if y'all going to be implementing tariffs, not only are we going to go ahead and lift the visa restrictions where you could come to China the first 280 hours that you're here, you don't need a passport, you don't need none of that. Come on over here. You can do your shopping, you pay your taxes when you get back to the U.S. They starting to make a trip to China. They say it's less than $1,300. The Chinese and African governments have even said, hey, Americans, y'all want to come over here? All I'm saying is, it doesn't seem like we thought this one all the way through. And if the man couldn't run Trump Towers effectively and efficiently, what made y'all think he was going to be able to run the world? That's just what I want to know. Will you let a bitch who filed bankruptcy do your tax records, do your books? Classism. Brainwash classism at that. I'm actually going to start a YouTube series called What I Got Off the Gate, because I found out it ain't fake. That's literally what I'm about to do, because I just don't understand. And y'all really was out here trying to clock the girls. Like Lululemon. Do y'all know how much it costs Lululemon to make them sets? They said it costs less than $2.50 for the top and the bottom. Tory Burch sandals only cost like $10 to make. And y'all let these people slap a $495 stick on some sandals. Y'all let Lululemon, who don't even want y'all rocking his shit, tell y'all, yeah, it's gonna be $150 for the workout top, $200 for the jacket, and $125 for the leggings. Bitch, please, let me tell y'all.